let's say that I had no skills, I was restarting from zero. Like, how would I go about getting my first client to pay me?
Hunter recently closed a new client entirely through cold DMs. His VA is sending them without him having to do anything.
There is no magic sauce. I'll put that out there right now. If there was, I would have found it and used it by now. But, there's not.
So today we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're just going to share with you exactly where we're trying to go in our businesses, where we're currently at, progress points, lessons, and then diving into a few extra topics that you will find useful towards the end. So the first thing I want to stand on is Hunter recently closed a new client entirely through cold DMs. So no warm, no coming in, pure cold DMs. And let's just stress, not cold DMs where he's slaving away to send these. Cold DMs where his VA is sending them without him having to do anything, whilst he's on vacation in a nice little Airbnb with his Latina.
And
what would you want to say?
Not only did he, DM the guy, but I had a meeting with them about 2 weeks ago, sent a proposal, and, his business partner was away on vacation, needed to review, totally normal. Then they reached out again and said, hey, you ready to book a call? And my VA handled all of that from there. He booked the call with them, figured out what time was going to work. I didn't have to deal with the stress of time zones. It's great. So cold DMs are alive and well, but they probably work better if you're not trying to sell an Instagram DMing tool. Sorry to the million DMs I got today about that.
Yeah, man. Well, I think the biggest problem with that is there's obviously an Instagram DM cohort or community or something that's launched. They've obviously given...
Do you think that's what it is?
Oh, man. 100%.
That's gotta be. That makes sense because they're all coming together doing the same thing, selling the same fucking product. Same service
and the same offer.
Same fucking message, dude. I open them up and I'm like, hey, did your buddy, are you guys working together? I swear to God, I think some of them are working together.
Honestly, it's only two things. Either there's one guy with a ton of different accounts sending them all from his thing. What is more likely, I think, is a cohort. Because even with us, we originally came in through Dakota's cohort. Mm-hmm. Initially just 30 of us. And the next one had 60, 100 or whatever. Everyone going in with ghostwriting, everyone being given the same ideas and offers, all of this sort of thing. So everyone goes about posting the same thing. You take this to the other level, someone like Dickie Bush, where thousands are joining their programs to do educational email courses or something, and they're all focused on X. Definitely, it's a cohort. But anyways, I want you to walk through the process, basically. Lessons learned with the cold email thing, and just basically, I think, seeing the behind the scenes of how someone is actually getting clients or anything in the business is really interesting. Because I think it's someone people are always what's the magic sauce? Why can't I do it and why can you? Talk me through a little bit about, walk me through yours, be as detailed as you want to be or can be, and share some lessons.
There is no magic sauce. I'll put that out there right now. If there was, I would have found it and used it by now, and so would have Tats. But, there's not. I've been thinking about this a lot in the sense of let's say that I had no skills. I was restarting from zero. How would I go about getting my first client to pay me, right? I think that's what everybody is wondering. If you don't have an audience, you don't have this stack of proof behind you, testimonials, case studies, etc. How do you go about finding that first client that is willing to pay you? And I thought about it again from, a different service standpoint. It really doesn't matter the service you're putting out as long as you're providing something that is going to ultimately make the business more money. That is what they care about. People like to say value, provide value, but let's cut right down to it. They need to be convinced that your service is going to make them more money. I mean, I'm in operations and I try to do right. If you're doing some B2B, which I primarily am, if you're DMing people for services, I'm guessing you're B2B. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a SaaS. But even so, normally, and I'm in operations, so I tried to do the whole time savings thing, but I'm what am I really saving their time from? And it's the headaches, but ultimately it's because they want to make more money. And if they have more time, they're entrepreneurs, they're going to want to make more money. And you have to figure out what whatever service you're providing, what skill you're good at is going to make more money. And then I would just DM a bunch of people and offer to work for free. And not everybody is going to say yes because you have no proof, but all you need is one person to be like, yeah, you can work for free. Do the project, and then if you get results, boom, you have a certifiable case study that you can market to get real paying clients doing the same process. But this time you can say, hey, I got results for X. If you don't get results, try again. You're not good enough to get paid yet. That's just the truth of the matter. But yeah, what I've learned from doing a lot of cold DMs recently is that it's more often not the numbers game, like you're planting seeds in everybody. And with the framework that I use, I honestly get great results with like, what's so funny?
Sorry, that could be taken as an innuendo. That could be taken as a Genghis Khan sort of. You are planting seeds in everybody. Sorry, carry on. I don't know what sort of cold DMs you're sending, Hunter, but I hope I don't receive one anytime.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a special one for you. Kento write it up for us, but besides the point. So yes, I'm just kind of like making everybody. I can't even think after you made that joke. I should have expected this morning. I should have, but here I am, blissfully ignorant to what could have happened.
Anyhow,
okay. Anywho,
when it comes to before we go on to the next bit, I just want to touch on how do you think about the cold DM script? Like, I know we've spoken about this a fair bit in the past, but can you get more specific on how you actually think about a script and how to make one work? Like, what is it in yours that is getting you replies versus what is it in everyone else's, which is just like making people hate them essentially?
Well, I don't want to be misleading because I would say like 60% of people just don't reply, and
yeah,
that's okay. Like, that's just gonna happen. Doesn't matter what you're trying to sell, people just aren't gonna reply. But the replies that I do get aren't like fuck off. They're like, thanks for letting me know. Like, I'll keep this in mind for the future. If I ever need anything, I'll reach out. And that is a lot better because people do that eventually. I mean, especially because I feel that I'm solving a unique problem that isn't, being talked about on social media. However, I do see there are cohorts popping up for like teaching people how to do what I do ish, but it'll be okay. What I think makes the DM framework different for me, I mean, considering that it's worked twice now, just once recently that we're talking about today. And when I say twice, like obviously that's not a huge number, but the clients that I am signing from cold DMs are high ticket, so they're not like just a couple $100 from people. I really, like we talked about in our masterclass cold DM podcast special, whatever you want to call it, is thinking about people as real people. Like, if you were at a business conference, right, with a bunch of business owners that you didn't know, how would you go up and give somebody your elevator pitch that doesn't know you, doesn't care about you, but could care about your services if they know what it could do for them? And I'd never want to like back somebody into a corner, give them a really hard stop on if you like, I'm going to try and convince you. Because I think we all get DMs on Twitter at some point when you're trying to build an audience that are blatantly selling a service that you are not interested in. And that's probably what 60% of the people that don't reply think. It's a service they're not interested in. But that's okay because I'm being very specific about it. But yeah, I just think about if like you were to be at a business conference for whatever industry it is, how would you go up and start talking to somebody about what you do? And I like when you said thinking about like going door to door knocking. Like, I think obviously being online takes the humanity out of things for people. They don't realize that they're talking to a real person on the other end of the phone. And we people have feelings. We're not you know, 100% stoic beings. So you need to cater to that. You need to treat people like people and just with respect. I don't feel like these Instagram DMing tools are just, I don't feel like I'm being respected as a person. I don't know. That's why I don't answer.
Yeah, solid. Agreed.
What are you drinking?
Green tea.
That makes sense.
What
We
makes
Americans
sense?
drink coffee, but it's fine. I want
No, I
maybe
drink
ice cream.
coffee as well. I've had 2 coffees. I drink coffee. I drink Earl Grey.
Are you okay?
Green
You've had 2
tea.
coffees and a tea today.
Yeah, I drink rosehip tea. I've drunk 2. I've drunk 3 cups of tea already. 2 coffees, and this is my green tea.
Do they not have caffeine in them?
Some do, some don't. The green does. Earl Grey does. The herbal ones don't. I just love tea, man.
I see. I didn't grow up in the UK, so I don't have the same affinity. I feel like. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Besides the point. I'd love to learn. Well, have you answer the same questions? What is one, you know, I guess mistake or misstep that you learned something from that you're going to apply, or a success that you learned something from recently?
Success is probably being fast at learning. So, well, actually, 2 things. Being fast at learning and, like, in general, just being, like, as useful as you can be. Like, just those 2 things. Like, I think if you have those 2, I'm seeing nothing else compound in my life like that, really. And so I'll explain kind of briefly why. So with the learning things, as if you listen to the last few episodes, you'll know that I've recently, as of like 2 weeks ago, started taking over paid ad campaigns for one of my fintech SaaS clients that I do marketing for. And they don't have time to manage the campaigns themselves. Some are sort of profitable, they're sort of break even. They just don't have enough time to do it, and they also don't have a large enough ad spend. Ad spend is anywhere from 5 up to, it could be 10K a month. But like for some of these big agencies that really know what they're doing, realistically, like they want to be scaling to like hundreds of grand a month up to millions a month, right? So just not really in their budget. And so they've given it over to me. One, because of the second point, which is just trying to be as useful as possible. And so up until this point, communication's been fast, always there to reply, always try and give a little bit more basically with the work. And essentially just looking to take on and offer ideas and be as useful as I can. And so like, okay, seems competent with this other stuff. Let's just see. And I also said that I want to take over the paid ad campaigns, but obviously don't have experience. So in the end, they were like, hey man, why don't we just give it to you basically? And so the first week was Google Ads. I just went absolutely mental learning everything I could about Google Ads. I watched a 5-hour course in one sitting. I consumed like tons of YouTube videos, like everything I could literally find. And then I mapped out a strategy. I like researched, I looked at everything they'd done so far, sent over a Loom. First thing we said was like, oh no, actually, no, I just built a dashboard. Yeah, go for it.
Did you use AI to help you learn or plan the strategy?
Not at all.
Interesting. Okay, continue.
Partly because in the same way that if I wanted to learn copywriting, I would not advise anyone necessarily use AI, or to learn any sort of marketing, because AI is good at doing the generic stuff when you tell it to do specific things, and you can see whether something's good or not. If you just go straight to AI, with a lot of these things, there's no one strategy which is the right strategy. There are certain underlying principles which everyone follows, but everyone has a slightly different way. And so to think that AI is just going to pick the best one out of all of these things that people are doing, chances are not necessarily. And it's not even necessarily what's the right way, it's what's the right way for you. So what I like to do is I'll have like
I'd like to build something for you just to have you test it out.
Yeah, do it. So for example, if I come to a specific problem, like how do you actually structure a campaign, basically? How do you go about researching keywords? I binged this whole 5-hour course in one, so I had an idea of like all the steps. And then as I implemented it myself, I would like watch like 5 different YouTubers' videos on how they specifically
at the same time in the dark. You had a blanket over you, and it was a tent. You're sitting on the ground.
and then basically
I can
pick the
see it.
approach which I think is best, basically. Anyway, I presented it to them. They were like, I was not expecting you to be like, have come this far so quickly. Set up a campaign that's running now, optimizing a little bit, but we'll see after the 30 days basically how it goes. And then I've gone on to meta ads and done basically a similar process, like watched all the main YouTubers I could think of, like researched, asked whoever I could, and then now just got a course which I'll be working through now. And like they're basically like, after the Google one, they're like, please just get onto the meta one, because obviously you can do this really fast. And I'm on the meta one. Once again, they're really, really happy. And so the ability to retain that client has just dramatically increased, purely because over the last few years, like trying to get good at learning fast is something I'd say I've like actively tried on. And so I think no matter what it is you do, no matter who you work with, if you can just demonstrate that you learn fast and you're useful, like it will compound so much. Final little story. So one of my current goals is to onboard one more, either email, just general, like a marketing client, basically, sort of like I've got with this SaaS one, where it's like not just copywriting, it's strategy as well. And so I reached
Like a
out
CMO.
yeah, like a fractional CMO sort of thing. So I reached out to a guy who, full stack marketer, he's like millions and millions for clients who I know is building like a new project. And I was just like, hey man, and he's someone that I would absolutely love to learn under, because he's ridiculously good at what he does. And I was just like, hey, like I heard you doing this. Like if you ever like need someone else to write some copy, whatever, I'll pounce on the opportunity. Happy to work for like below market rate just to get up to speed and all this sort of thing. Like the biggest value be learning under you. And he was like, yeah, thank you so much for the message. We'll definitely be needing this at some point. And then he mentioned, I've spoken with Tom, which is the guys who work at the startup, and they know each other. And he said he's really, really happy with you. That's all the proof I need. And we'll go from there. Once again, being useful, trying to be like it compounds so much. And it's like, it's cliche, isn't it? And you're like, yeah, like, and what, like, surely there's got to be more. But I don't know. It's just reaffirmed once again, like, as much time, just try and do as best you can with whoever you are. Make someone feel good from your interaction with them. And like, it's not something that happens straight away, but over time, I don't know. I feel like it just compounds and compounds. To the which point you can imagine, once we've both been in this game for 10 years, delivering and doing good work, think of how many people are like, oh yeah, I know so-and-so, really, really good at doing this. I'd recommend them. And so
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for the future.
I mean, I've already experienced the effect of like, because you get one client in your target audience. They know everybody else in that target audience too. Like they talk. People are social creatures. We want to network with people that are interested in what we do. It's not just you and your industry. It's everybody in everybody's industry. But and to go along with what you said about just making people happy, like if you just do good work and you show people that you are valuable to them. I just signed another 5-month extension with one of my clients. So at the end of that, it'll be almost a year we've worked together, and I think that's the best way to do things. I don't mean to rip on you and what you did previously to this, but I have a feeling that it's why you don't do it anymore, is the coaching style, because it is so much dependent on, like, I don't know how they even sign contracts or do deals, but from what I've been told from other coaches, it's very much like 1 week I'll have 8 calls, the next week I'll have 3 calls, the next week I'll have none, the week after I'll have 10, and I'm like, that does not sound appealing to me. I don't know if that was your experience. It's maybe not, but from the one I talked to, he was like, it was just not sustainable.
I would say coaching is sustainable if you build a sustainable system. So it's very easy.
Very true.
I would also say it's easier to make a lot of money coaching than it is to make, well, not necessarily like scaling huge. If you want to go, I think if you want to go to like 100K a month or like beyond, like say 500K, 400K, whatever, that with coaching can get pretty hard. But I think in general, it's easier to make money coaching if you have something to teach, because you don't have to do the actual work. Do you get me? Like, if
you're just talking.
This is why everyone who builds a successful agency often ends up then going to coach other people on how to build a successful agency, because to teach 10 people how to build an agency is a hell of a lot easier if you enjoy teaching and you're good at conveying and communicating, is a hell of a lot easier than serving 10 marketing clients. And each of those people that you teach can then potentially go on to serve another 10 people. So the value, like the impact you have as the coach, is actually a lot larger if you're a good one, which means that you end up getting paid more. Like if you're really good, like the best guys like Russell Brunson, to go to one of his masterminds is going to cost you like 20K, like plus 50K. Like I think his first like big coaching offer launch was like 50K and nothing less. And so that's sustainable and you're making a hell of a lot of money. It's a lot easier than if you actually have to deliver the work yourself. And it's why people sort of go to consulting. But I think
Good
the
point.
mistake is if you don't have the value in the first place really to coach, then you can fall into the trap of never actually gaining. You don't gain as much experience. When you gain the most experience is when you've actually got your hands on doing whatever it is. But it all depends on the context, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. You can definitely make a lot of money. I think at that point, it comes down to like lifestyle for me, like, and time being my most valuable resource. Like, you are essentially again trading your time for money if you have to be there. If it's not some like course that you're selling as a coach, but like,
That's
yeah,
final caveat. If you are building it through a personal brand, it's a lot harder, and you're the only person who's selling it. It's a lot harder to scale if you're doing the coaching, not the courses, because it's harder to just get another coach in for you. If you have another brand for it, like Client Ascension do this really, really well, even though it's mostly them. I think there's like 3 guys. But if you have that brand and people are just joining that brand because they've heard about it, not necessarily for one person, you can have then coaches underneath teaching, etc., etc., and that way you can scale. But it's definitely it's a lot harder. I want to touch on one big idea and 2 things.
You want to touch on what?
Idea. One big idea, yeah, and 2 stories related to the idea, because I know something that you're struggling with is your content system right now for X and writing, and it's the idea is essentially.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold
go
on.
for it.
To update everybody, there is a new YouTube video on my channel because last week we challenged each other and we would have to do it. Yes, there is a new YouTube video about how I daily journal with AI and building the template with it. So now I don't have to post a picture of my elbow and with no context on Twitter. You wrote 2 long pieces of content. I know I got 2 emails from you, so I'm guessing so.
You asked for 2 stories, and I did write 2 stories. Not necessarily long ones, but they were, and they both did well. So I do not need to go shilling a meme coin.
Oh my gosh, that's such like a cruel, horrendous joke too, you know.
Oh man, I know. To think that some people just do that as a living is honestly painful. But anyhow, so the idea of simplicity. So I know with you and your content system, you're struggling at the moment, probably because it is fairly complicated. And I think systems, when over-engineered, can ultimately, every moving part is a point of friction, right? And so if you have too many cogs in a system, it can almost get hard to turn because of how much friction there is. And so I've gone through trying to build complicated content systems, complicated strategies to really simple ones. And what I've got now is honestly painfully simple, and it ties back into a lesson around paid ads. So as we
you're going full circle here. This is good stuff.
I'm going to start with the paid ads. So after consuming hundreds of videos on meta ads and how people
all at the same time, again, think of him being on the floor with a tent
on 3
constantly in a swivel chair, just spinning at light speed
whilst I'm sleeping as well, can I say? And not just through my phone, but through the Alexa as well. I have Alexa playing one video on my phone playing the other one, and that's how I sleep. And the TV on, even though the TV's in the living room, I have that playing just to let my whole family know what I'm doing. But anyway, whilst that's going on, so there's a lot of strategies. Some people do like loads of retargeting. You do like top of funnel, middle funnel. You targeting this little audience. You're just trying to get really, really clever with the algo and do loads of clever things.
Mm-hmm.
Came across one guy who spends 2 million a month on ads with his agency. He's scaled accounts from literally like 300,000 a month up to millions a month in ad spend. And I love him because his entire mechanism is just keep everything as simple as possible and focus on the one needle mover. And so what I mean by that is he is like, at the moment, Facebook understands what it wants to show the ad to. And it decides whether it wants to show an ad to a lot of people based on how engaging it is, how useful it is. Like, does it keep people on the platform, basically, or do people just ignore it? Now, he also understands that Facebook, the algorithm in general, is now got like 10,000 touch points in every individual and can slowly work out who best to show your ad to. And so given this, he only ever targets broad for starters. He only ever has one campaign running, unless he's targeting different countries. We'll have a campaign for each country. And then all he does is just test like a single ad set. So like one concept, say if you're selling fitness program, it would be a special fitness program. You'd be like, get this fitness program so you can lose weight and run around with your grandkids, for example, one angle. That'd be an ad you test. And he will basically just leave it for 4 days. Does Facebook give it a load of ad spend compared to the other ads that are already running? If it does, and the cost per acquisition, so cost per purchase or cost per whatever it is you're tracking, stays at your target or stays the same, great, leave it on, make another one. He aims to make about 2 new concepts ads every single week. Then when he decides to scale or not, he literally just says, he looks over the last 3 days, is my cost per acquisition, so how much I'm paying for every customer or every lead, is it where I want it to be? Yes. Okay, increase ad spend 20%. No? Okay, decrease ad spend 20%, wait 4 days. Wait 3 days, do it again, repeat and repeat. And that's literally his entire system. And so what it means is all his energy then is focused on making creatives and researching his market. Nothing else. That's all it is. And so, which is ultimately the needle mover, right? Apart from like switching the offer, the landing page, all this sort of thing.
Right.
So I love that. And then his whole idea is just focus on marketing fundamentals. So he's a beast. I've been learning. He's kind of like who I've ended up drifting towards. And I will let you guys know how it goes when I try to mimic his system, essentially, with my client. Now, coming back to content, I used to like have a Notion, like put things on different days, be like, okay, I've got to write an education tweet, inspiration tweet, all this sort of thing. What I've been doing over the last week and a bit, or 2 weeks, is when I've started trying to restart my growth. One, restarting my growth has been going good. Just a steady uptrend in how many new follows I get a day and how many impressions I get. Started slow, but now getting a good base engagement. And once again, to do that, all I am doing is focusing on the fundamentals and keeping it as basic as possible. What do I mean by that? My
What do you mean by
system is literally a single notes in the Apple Notes tab called Tweets. Single, nothing else. All I do, anytime I get an idea, I just stick it in there, I flesh it a little bit out, and I just leave it. If I post a tweet from it, I copy and paste it, I stick it into Twitter, I post it, and then I delete it from that. And that's literally all I do. And at the top of this, so this is the key part that's made content writing. Because I used to before like have to schedule a few days, or I would literally just get stressed writing tweets on the day. Now I just like slot like an hour or two to engage as well, and just like after like lunch or like when I'm tired, basically, to do it. And so why it's easy is because I spoke with Art of Purpose, and he was like, all you need for your brand, especially a personal brand, is to have a purpose over the next 1 to 6 months, or 12, it can be longer if you want. Have a purpose of where you're trying to go, state to your audience that that's where you're going, and then simply just post updates of you doing that. And that's like 90% of all your content. So that's the first thing I did. I said for August, my goal is to learn paid ads, restart personal brand growth, onboard one more marketing client. So I've got that written at the top. I've also got at the top one of my philosophies. So I'm slowly listing them out. Like one of them is to build a business. Everything in life is about balance. Learn to sell. Simple is best. Hey, simple is best. This is literally what I'm talking about now. And then anytime. And then the other thing then, so all your content then, either stories, lessons, or behind the scenes of you trying to go towards that goal. And so every day I would just come in here, I'll scroll through here, be like, is there anything here I want to post? If not, I'll try and write something else new down, or look somewhere else, or look at the timeline and just copy and paste. Boom. I don't even use a scheduler now, because this comes back to the other thing. How do you grow on X? And it's literally by engaging with your followers and engaging with other people you find interesting. And that's all it comes down to. So I've made sure to be replying to all of my comments. Anytime I do a post, I'm also want to reward the people who engage with my content earliest. So this is why I don't schedule anymore, because I want to be there when people comment, so I can immediately say something back, and basically thank them in a way. And then also to engage with other people around that time as well. And the other thing to close up on this, so I've gamified the whole idea of growth by pretending I'm trading. So for anyone who's done trading, you will know that like an uptrend is a set of higher highs and higher lows. And so I look at my impressions and new follows chart, and I do not let myself make a lower low. That is my entire rule. As long as I've got a large uptrend, I'm happy. So if I'm like a bit low on one day, I'm like, shit, I can't end the day. I'm going to have to put more time into content. I'm going to have to write a few more tweets. I'm going to have to comment a bit more, because I need my impressions and new follows to rise up so that I don't break the last low and start a downtrend. And
I think
honestly,
that's how I started too.
oh man, it's so
I was just like,
fun.
if I just keep going, like if I don't have any more followers right now, well, if I just keep commenting and like messaging people, I know that I'll get more followers.
Yeah,
I would just do that every day.
It's so fun as well, because if you have a really good day, so yesterday I had a breakout, I made a new all-time high in my impressions. So today it's already a higher low without me needing to do much. So today,
wait, you mean like new all-time high from even when you wrote previously?
No. Literally like the last like 20 days, basically.
Okay.
Last 14 days. So I'm just looking.
What was it?
So I could share my screen.
I think like since I stopped being like posting content consistently, at least on X, I think that, like, I'll just post here and there like different things. I think one of the most impressions I got is like, and just like 30 likes and 1,500 impressions, and you probably got like, what'd you get? But for me, I was like, that's cool. Like, I don't need to constantly be there. And if something is really like just genuinely cool, people will think that as well.
So,
oh my goodness. Here we go.
I started again like July 25th, I think was the day. So pretty slow start. Literally only like 2,000 impressions that day, 1,700, 1,100. So here, this is accumulation phase. Boom, we've got a breakout. We've made a higher high on both the new follows and impressions. Good stuff. Come down for a low. I was like, shit. Oh, boom, made a new all-time high. And then we came down here, and this day I was panicking because I was like, shit, this can't be, if this comes down too low, this is a lower low, and it's confirming like either a head and shoulders or just the start of a new downtrend. So like,
you're doing head and shoulders pattern charting on
and then so I made
oh my god,
broke up, and I was like, okay, good, uptrend confirmed, because we made a higher low here.
We're gonna buy 5 calls here at a premium of 99 cents each. We're gonna wait for about a 20% move.
Broke out here, made a new all-time high impressions, not new all-time high on new followers yet, but new all-time high impressions, 17 followers. And so today I can have a chill day because those last tweets have done quite well. Already confirmed a higher low here. So all I need to do tomorrow is just engage a low to make sure that I don't go below this mark, basically, which is actually going to be quite hard because I've got a big party tomorrow. So I might actually have this might actually have to be sacrificed over the weekend, and then I just have to do another massive breakout on the weekend.
Dude, when you said forming a head and shoulders, I lost it. Because if anybody trades, like, they know what he's talking about, and like that's wild.
Man, it's so funny. I've been chatting to Glenn and Dill, and I'm just like, yeah, breakout confirmed. We just need to retest the highs.
Need to retest the previous resistance, see if we're gonna fall through the support or not. It could be a double bottom. We're waiting for confirmation on the price action. This is not financial advice either.
No, this is not financial advice, but it's an excellent way to gain your account. So highly recommend it. So yeah, There is
So
my
make things as simple
huge
as possible.
monologue
I have
on
some questions.
content. Go for it.
What about long form, like emails? Is that what you mean when you like flesh it out more? You're just writing more in the notes, and then copy and paste that into ConvertKit.
No, so that none of those were emails. To be fair, all of those were just little tweets, basically.
So do you have a separate system for writing emails?
For emails, so the way I did the last one, I just opened up a Google Docs. I listed out all my ideas that I wanted to write about, and then I just wrote about 6 emails in one sitting and just scheduled them up. And what I've been doing at the moment is just switch to 2 emails a week, because I'm not selling anything.
So you batch them.
Yeah. So I never used to, but because I've started doing email client work, I'm like, shit, I will literally write like 12 emails, 10 emails in one sitting for clients. Why don't I just do the same for myself?
I always feel the same way after I write one email. I'm like, this took me, because like I obviously don't do your industry, but from writing a daily newsletter and posting content like and emails for almost 2 years now, like I could sit down, write an email in like 15 minutes. Why don't I just sit down for 2 hours and write like 8? Obviously not going to be to that scale, but to your point, like you find success with that.
So I haven't written an email in like 2 weeks. They've just been sending on their own. I think I've got one more scheduled for Tuesday, and then I'll have to write another batch. I'll probably write another 6. Yeah, man, it's pretty chill.
That is pretty chill. I definitely have some things I've learned from that. I need to simplify the shit out of my systems for writing content because more points of friction, just makes things more complicated than it needs to be for absolutely no reason other than for system's sake. And as a systems guy, like, you should never do things for the sake of doing things for systems. Like, that is useless.
I will ask you a question. What is a mistake you feel you've made, or something that didn't go as you wanted it to, like a failure, either a mistake or a failure that you've made in the last 6 months, which you've gained a lesson from, and that you actually, and that you can convey that lesson and have now changed how you act or do things or think?
I think that I used to think that everybody moved slowly because that's what I was shown with a lot of different bigger companies and agencies. But speed pays. And I'm not the first one who said that. I don't know who it was. I don't even, but speed pays. Like, the quicker you are about something, the more you're going to sell. Like, the more you follow up, the quicker you are about it. Obviously, you don't want to be super pushy, but like, put people on a list. Like, and this obviously goes back to DMing. But speed pays. How fast you can get the proposals to them, how fast you can answer their questions when they have them.
So that's the lesson, but I want to know, what's the failure or the mistake that you made to learn that lesson?
Oh, I think it was I told somebody I was going to have a proposal by the end of the day for them. I didn't get it till the next day. And I was like, oh, sorry, something came up, but then he never replied. So, I mean, obviously I sent a couple more follow-up emails, but maybe if I would have sent it by that night, things would have been different. So, speed pays.
Yeah. I think it's also with that, because I've made that mistake as well. I'll be like, oh, I'll get this done by this date. So an interesting trait, if you're naturally someone who is a people pleaser, you will always bring down the estimate of how much time there is. If you're someone who's the opposite,
So true.
you will actually say, oh no, it's going to be like ages. You'd be like, oh, it'd be like a week sort of thing, instead of saying it's 3 days. And so, I've found now, whenever I say I give an estimate, I'm like, whoa, is that the actual estimate, or is that just what I want to tell them so that I have the initial less like, oh, saying that? Because I've noticed even with friends, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm like, no, I won't. I'll be there in half an hour. Tell them it's half an hour. Deal with that now, and they'll be less frustrated at the end. And you don't have to drive like a flipping madman to get where you're trying to go.
I think a simple trick anybody can use is like, however many days you think it's going to be done. Like, let's say you can get the proposal or the test project or whatever it is going to be in 4 days. Say 6, but then deliver it in 4 days.
Yeah.
Because then they're like, wow, he works so fast. Like, he really cares. Like, It's not that
Exactly.
hard. Just think
And
about
the
how
other
you.
there as
Yeah.
well, if you have the time as well, and you do say 2 days, do everything in your power to make it 2 days. Like, even if it means logging on at like midnight, bleary-eyed to try and get this thing done, just try and do that anyway. Unless it means that it will significantly decrease the quality and like it will absolutely be tragic. But no, that's a valuable lesson.
Yeah. Yeah. I think okay. I'll say one more mistake was that I was not posting consistently on YouTube, overestimating how hard I thought it was because I did it one time and it took me a little bit longer. But Tats obviously last week, if you listened, challenged me to post another YouTube video by the next time we recorded, and it was a good like accountability challenge because I don't know if I would have done it before. I think I would have convinced myself I was too busy and to do many things, but I said I was going to do it, and we had obviously the punishments if we didn't, but it literally like I sat down, did it one take. I edited one part out of it. It doesn't need to be super fancy. That's not why people are there, but it was a mistake in not doing it earlier, really. But just moving forward with it, gonna record more and post more because it is. I find it very enjoyable, and from a leverage standpoint, I I think the ROI is just so much higher than on X, and I think that's why I've been so struggling to post content on there because I've made it so difficult for myself with all these points of friction, and I don't view the return on investment as great, so it doesn't intrinsically motivate me to want to write content for it. But with YouTube, um, I just love how their content works, where it doesn't matter if a video is a year, 2 years old, if it's still good, like people are gonna watch it.
Mm. Yeah. And the world is a happier place now that Hunter Bohm is posting on YouTube.
I like honestly when I posted the first video, I was shocked because like I have like for reference, I posted this video with like 0 followers on my account. I'd never really promoted it ever. Um, and this one video from 0 followers has like almost 2,000 views, gained me 90 subscribers, 2 leads came from it. And there's like 28 comments of people just being like, wow, this is so great. Thank you for sharing this with me. It was so easy to learn. I'm like, wow, I know I wouldn't get that kind of attention if I wrote one thread. That's for sure. Or at least probably not, unless it did incredibly well. But this video didn't take a lot of effort, and it continuously gets more impressions than a thread that went super viral would a year later, anyways.
Mm. Yeah, it's the beauty of YouTube. I
Yes.
have just finished watching all of your video in the background.
Oh my gosh, you actually did that, didn't you?
Yeah,
That's so nice of you. Because it shows the retention. That's awesome. Wow, what a true friend right there, ladies and gentlemen. When they watch all of it to make sure that YouTube algo knows that the retention is up, that's a true friend.
Every little helps. You got to play the game.
So true.
Righto. Should we give it a wrap?
I think that's it. Yeah, I'm going up north this weekend to visit the family, so I have a 6-hour drive ahead of me.
Oh, rough. Well, enjoy. I hope you, I don't know, binge some good shit on that 6 hours.
Yeah. Gonna watch some podcasts and
Listen to life.
try and keep myself entertained. Yeah. I'm just gonna rewatch everything we've done.
Epic, man. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Always.
Oh, final thing to wrap on. What are your goals for by this time next week for some accountability?
Okay, at least one more YouTube video for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to I'm going to start the process. I know I won't be able to get it all done by next week, but I want to migrate completely off of Gumroad once and for all. I don't even know why I'm on it anymore. I might have to do some research for like...
So can just do this for you, surely.
I know. I just got to figure out what platform I want to use and then record a limit of me doing it once, and then he can do it for sure.
Yeah.
But The thing with Gumroad is that they're a VAT, a VAT. So like they do value added tax for different countries, and that's important. And ConvertKit doesn't do that, and I don't want to deal with taxes. So like I don't know what to use right now. I know Lemon Squeezy doesn't do that, I don't think. So I just got to figure that out. But I need to do that because I'll feel way more motivated to make better products and create passive income, which I love more than working with clients. I'm sorry, clients. I love you all, but we can all agree that making money in your sleep is better. Don't care who you are.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you going to do?
Solid goals. I want to have launched my first Meta ads campaign.
Ooh, okay. Yes, you'll have to update us.
I'm also watching like a huge course right now. So I'll have finished that. I'll have analyzed the current campaigns that they've run, made some creatives, and launched that campaign basically. And then I'll basically be able to keep you up to date on how that goes. To be honest, that's probably the biggest one. The other one is to continue my uptrend for my personal brand growth. If I make some lower lows and break my trend, I'll be extremely sad. Yeah, man. If there's a head and shoulders,
we're fine puts.
So basically, I need to be in a higher place, impressions and new follows a day wise, than I am today, next week. Oh, pardon me. Awesome. Right out.
Awesome. Everybody, thank you for listening.
Sub, whatever. Follow us on X, and have a cracking day.
Yeah, have a cracking day and drink some tea.
See you.
Yo, it's time to build leverage, stack up your advantage. Life and business, time to manage, never stay stranded. Start with the vision, mission, plan of attack. Keep your eyes on the prize, no looking back.